Hello, 49er Faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang. This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building with a little bit of NFL news. I know everybody has seen this. A lot of people have reported on it, but I didn't get a chance to report on it myself. So there has been a trade, a blockbuster deal, by all accounts. Basically, Jalen Ramsey has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers Nation, you guys should be very happy about this. Although the only negative thing is there's a missing person. Hey, Mom, because the unfortunate situation is in the process of trading Jalen Ramsey to the Steelers, the Dolphins got back somebody they previously traded to the Steelers. If y'all don't remember, Minka Fitzpatrick was basically just dying in Miami, and now randomly he's back with the team that sent him away and didn't have any faith in him and or believe in him. Now, of course, the trade is very simply put. We'll share the screen and let you guys take a look at it. Give me just a brief moment. This is shout out CBS Sports. Sorry, not this one. I need to share the other one. There we go. All right. So, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Steelers agreed to send Pro Bowl safety Minka Fitzpatrick and a draft pick to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for cornerback Jalen Ramsey, tight end Jonnu Smith, and a draft pick. So, when you take a look at that, you mean to tell me that Pittsburgh got a viable tight end? Not to say that Pat Freiermuth isn't good. Pittsburgh people, don't kill me. But you got a viable tight end. You could run a two tight end set with Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith on the other end. The only reason they get offloaded, that Miami offloaded Jonnu Smith, was because he wanted more money. They got rid of Jalen Ramsey, obviously, for the same reason. And at the same time, they had an agreement mutually that it was best for them to part ways. But when you think about it, Pittsburgh won this trade. They pretty much did. You get Jalen Ramsey to pair with Joey Porter Jr. over there. I believe Joey Porter Jr. is a safety, though, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, you bolstered Pittsburgh's defense. You took a little bit away by getting rid of Minka Fitzpatrick, because Minka Fitzpatrick was fairly good in Pittsburgh. That's where he found himself. That's where he elevated to the guy that he currently is, being one of the better safeties in the league. But you send him right back to Miami, and Miami, unfortunately, is just a dumpster fire. You see what they have, and you wonder why it hasn't gone well. But I can tell you right now, the defense is what's suffering. The offense, technically speaking, in Miami has all the pieces. You still got Jalen Waddle. You still got Tyreek Hill. You still have Tua Tagovailoa. But the thing is you got to have an O-line. Tua's got to stay healthy. And now you're going to have to figure out what you're doing at the tight end spot. You just traded away your best tight end. So don't get me wrong. You can find a good tight end, a serviceable guy. Somebody can kind of be a little bit of a dual threat. He can block. He can catch. You know what I'm saying? Fortunately, my team has that. We have the best tight end in the league in George Kittle. But when it comes to this trading, you look at everything as a whole. Miami lost. Pittsburgh won. Here's the reason why. You mean to tell me I just gave Aaron Rodgers, at the age that he is, I think he's in his 40s. I think he's 42 or 43. You gave Aaron Rodgers. He now has DK Metcalf. He's got Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth. And right now I know they're new with their running back situation as far as that's concerned. So I can definitely state such when it comes to that, because when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers depth chart, which is what I initially brought up, this is the most recent thing I could find. Of course, they haven't added the guys. The trade just went through. This is off of CBS Sports as well. So basically, of course, you got Aaron Rodgers. He's your incumbent starter. Now, here's the issue. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, for the Steelers, it was Najee Harris that was their number one back, because they did what they could with that. But, now you have a guy that was over 1,000 yards out the building. Now you have Jalen Warren, Caleb Johnson, looks like our old back over there, Trace Trey Sermon is there now. Kenneth Gainwell is there. He's a viable back. Cordero Patterson is definitely one of the better dual threat guys in the league when it comes down to it. So you got some cats there, you know what I mean? And, of course, you got the resident people that are always there. But when you take a look at it from an offensive standpoint, Pittsburgh shouldn't be really taking a step back. They should be winning. And to me, this signals that Pittsburgh is trying their best to go all in. They are trying to push all their chips into the middle of the table and see what they can do. And see, for me, it's a make or break type of year for Mike Tomlin. And the reason being is because, once again, people, it's beautiful that you have the consistency that Mike Tomlin has had. But when you do not win playoff games, I think he's only won one in the last 10 years. When you don't win playoff games and you do not push to be in the AFC Championship game or in the Super Bowl conversation, it begins to get old. Now, mind you, Pittsburgh's method with their head coaches is you keep them until they go or until they retire. They literally have had, if I'm not mistaken, 3 head coaches. You have Chuck Noll, you had Bill Cowher, and now you're at Mike Tomlin. So they keep these dudes for very, very long time. And typically your replacement is in the building when you're ready to leave. Like, that guy has already been picked, set up. They already know what they're doing with him. That's just how Pittsburgh moves. Once again, Pittsburgh won this trade in so many ways because you got another weapon on offense for Aaron Rodgers. You got a viable DB in Jalen Ramsey. Now, of course, Ramsey ain't the same dude that he was some years ago. There was a lot of rumors about him going to L.A. But here's the thing. I still believe in Jalen Ramsey. I think he could still be a top DB in the league. I mean, right now, to be honest with you, you got to be at least top 10. You know what I'm saying? If not top 15. You're going to have some guys out there that are a little bit better than others. You know what I mean? And it's going to be like that. But when it comes down to it, when you look at Jalen Ramsey and look at what he brings to the table, it's great for the Steelers defense. Now, the Steelers only have one real problem, and that's paying T.J. Watt. They got to get that man his money. At the end of the day, T.J. Watt is a one-man wrecking crew, literally a one-man wrecking crew. And I know a lot of Niner fans, may not like when I say this, but Nick Bosa is not that. Nick Bosa needs help. You know what I'm saying? T.J. Watt, double-digit sacks, year in, year out, consistent. You're not stopping him. There's nothing you can do. Now, of course, these two play different positions because Nick Bosa is primarily and always a defensive end, whereas T.J. Watt is a linebacker / defensive end. He's a hybrid kind of guy. He can put his hand in the dirt and get after you still the same way he can do when he stands up. But, you know what I'm saying, there's a little more consistency when it comes to Watt. But this trade, simply put, was a win for the Steelers. It was a win for them. It was a win for Aaron Rodgers. It was a win for Coach Mike Tomlin. So I definitely expect the Steelers with this move to be a little bit better. Once again, as I stated, safety position takes a little bit of a step back just based on the fact that, of course, losing Minkah Fitzpatrick was not a good thing. But, hey, you've got 2 players and a pick. You know what I'm saying? While the Dolphins only got a player and a pick. And they basically set themselves back. You know what I'm saying? And no one expects the Dolphins to come out of the AFC. Let's just keep it a buck. No one expected the Steelers to finish better than 3rd in their division. You never know. Adding weapons for Aaron Rodgers, even late in his career. I mean, I know we all talk about how, he's lost his step. What's going on, Jet? He's lost his step, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? But Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. He can still sling the rock. He still gets you a little 60-yard TD here and there. You know what I'm saying? And I believe he still has the hunger to play. He was looking fairly well, last season toward the end of the season, but it was already too late by then. So I think this is a move by the Steelers that says we don't want to be, just the butt of everybody's joke anymore. As far as, hey, we're always on the winning side, but you're never winning the Super Bowl. You're never winning the, in the playoffs and whatnot. And I can guarantee you, man, there's tons of Steeler fans that are bothered and upset that Mike Tomlin is still around. Maybe some of the Steeler fans are just so used to a coach having that kind of longevity that it doesn't bother them outside of the fact that they're not winning playoff games. You know what I'm saying? Or getting to the playoffs in general. That's probably what the biggest issue is. So for me personally, I say the Steelers won this trade. They got 2 players. They got a pick. Both of those players are viable assets on any other team. Jonnu Smith is a damn good tight end. Jalen Ramsey, even being a little bit older, is still a viable DB. Can still lock up some dudes. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to get beat up by a lot of cats. You're not going to see a lot of people give him a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? He's the one giving the work rather than receiving it. Pause. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about that real quick. Wasn't going to be a very long video. I mean, it's just when you look at it, the Steelers upgraded, the Dolphins downgraded. And once again, we don't expect much from the Dolphins, but this says we expect more from the Steelers. You now have a viable quarterback. The other quarterbacks on their roster, I won't bring it up again, but the other quarterbacks on their roster at this present time were Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson. Now, y'all remember Skylar Thompson? Where was he at? Miami. Skylar Thompson did okay, but Skylar wasn't doing much. You know what I'm saying? He did what he could when Tua Tagovailoa went down, but we all see how that worked out. Now, before Aaron Rodgers came along and the Steelers waited a good amount of time before he actually came, you know what I'm saying? Mike Tomlin was all in on Mason Rudolph. But at the end of the day, once again, people, you have to say certain things. You can't just walk out there and be like, man, screw this dude. I don't like this cat, or, this quarterback isn't good enough, or I don't really know what we're going to do. You have to leave that to people like me and people like media personalities to be able to tell you the truth of what's going on, because a lot of the times you expect the coach to go out there and keep it a buck. They can only keep it real to certain extent. What's going on, Papa J? But you cannot, I repeat, you cannot at any moment turn around and just shoot on your players like that. It just doesn't work, because then your players lose faith in you. They don't want to play as hard. You know what I'm saying? It's just liking it to having a job. If you got a job and you're employing people, you don't want to walk around trashing your employees all day. You know what they're going to do? They ain't going to work as hard. You know why? Because they know you don't like them. You know what I'm saying? Or they know that you don't appreciate the hard work that they do. But if you walk around bigging up your employees, giving them incentives, you know what I'm saying? Instead of giving them like dumbass pizza parties and shit, you give them a $25 gift card, Visa or something like that. You incentivize them in different ways to be able to do a better job. They'll work harder for you. But when you're in a situation where, you're a head coach for a professional sports team, you cannot go out there and openly dog your players or basically show that you don't have any faith in the dudes that you have in the building. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is there. I do believe DK Metcalf is going to do some really good things. I'm not very deep into the Pittsburgh scene, so I don't know a lot of what they do. I do see that they currently have DK Metcalf and Robert Woods. Let me explain something to you. I may not like USC, but USC produces talent. Robert Woods ain't no slouch. He may not be the greatest receiver. He may not be the greatest number 2. It would have been nice to have DK and George Pickens. But unfortunately, Pickens wanted out, and he needed to go. He really did. I think that the issues, the character issues and stuff, they love that shit in Dallas. We all know that. Dallas loves people who have character issues. You know why? Because when Emmitt Smith was running behind that offensive line, that offensive line was mauling people. And a lot of them dudes had issues. Off the field, mind you. I'm talking legal issues. Talking about, every now and then, look, man, I'm just going to say it, and it ain't, I ain't casting no aspersions on anybody, nor am I saying anything because anybody is of a specific background. But you had a couple thugs on that line, man. You had some gangsters on that offensive and defensive line. You know what I'm saying? People forget Moose. If Moose wasn't in front of Emmett, he wouldn't have had that amount of yards that he did. Moose was a big-ass fullback, and he was mean. Look, you don't believe me? Go back and check the tape, man. But in this instance, I think that the Steelers take a step forward. Hopefully they find themselves a full-time starter at running back out of all of the dudes that I just named. Most likely it ain't going to be Trey Sermon. Honestly, I think it might be Kenneth Gainwell. You know what I'm saying? Could be Cordero Patterson. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be this young kid right here that they have. Looks like they got him sitting up front, Jalen Warren. So you never know what the situation may be. You know what I'm saying? So that just tells you that you just got to be ready for it. But Steelers won this trade all the way through and through, and I think they'll be better for it. As long as Aaron Rodgers is there, he's been connected with DK Metcalf, if I'm not mistaken. Um, they've been trying to get some throwing sessions in. Now that Jonnu Smith is there, I guarantee you'll start talking to him. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe that if the Steelers don't give Jonnu Smith any money, then most likely they'll just say, hey, look, dude, we ain't going to tag you. We'll let you walk next year. And that's more that honestly is satisfying when it comes to players because it's like that's the one thing that they fear. That's where the NFL has you pretty much by the ball, so to speak. Put it like this. If you are a first-round pick, you can literally say, kiss 7 years of your career goodbye. Here's the reason why. You have 4 years that you signed up for automatically, off rip, 4 years. They have one year to exercise your fifth-year option. After that fifth-year option, they can franchise tag you 2 more times. So that is literally 7 years off of your career. And unless you're getting paid in that 7 years, it's going to be very frustrating. Now, mind you, when they franchise tag you, yes, it has to average out to the highest paid person at your position. But that doesn't use longevity and security. So when it comes to that, you want to make sure that those contracts like that, and you have some T's, the ways out, and understand the business of the NFL. A lot of people forget that part. It's a business. And at the end of the day, you have to understand the business. Because when you understand the business, that means the wool can't be pulled over your eyes. If you don't understand the business, they'll pull the wool over your eyes every time. The other thing you have to understand as well is certain times, these agents are in cahoots with the organization to make sure that you don't wind up going places or you don't wind up getting too much money, things of that nature. So you always want to have an agent who has your best at heart. So for me personally, when Steelers this trade, they get Ramsey, they get Smith, they get a pick. I see no reason that Steelers should actually win a play this year. They should. Outside of not giving TJ Watt his money, because TJ Watt is a very, very massive component. Hey, what's going on, Sam? They're a massive component to their defense. And if you have that dude missing and he is not on the field, it's going to be very hard for them to be able to make, those plays that they normally make and do the things that they normally do. It is definitely very, very frustrating. But at the end of the day, man, look, that's the news. It was quick. I didn't want to make this video too long. Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith are Steelers. Mika Fitzpatrick back to Miami and a pick. And we'll see what happens. But this makes the AFC North a little more interesting as it pertains to some of the guys that are there to have the top teams. The only team in the AFC North, unfortunately, is just going to continue to suffer. It's the Browns. They're not. Yeah. We don't even know what their starting quarterback is. But be happy if you're a Steelers fan, please, because you getting another viable tight end, that's a 2 tight end set you can run. So you have that. That's great. Yeah, we don't play them. I don't believe we play Steelers at all. But that's a 2 tight end set you can run. That's 2 tight ends that can block for you. This can bolster your running game along with your having them both out there as receivers. Because I can tell you right now, if you wanted, Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith could be like Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. A-Rod may be older, but the man can still sling the rock a little bit. You let that man build up, too much continuity with those 2 dudes, you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're going to start seeing it working and be like, ooh, let's work that in. A good offensive coordinator sees when things are being done well, and then they start incorporating more of that because that's what's making them win. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying you're going to miss out on DK Metcalf because I guarantee you're going to have some highlight reel catches. And, I mean, you got to think about it. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Smith. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf? Who's basically Devontae Smith early in his career? And don't sleep on Devontae Smith, y'all. I mean, Devontae Smith. Jesus Christ, I've been calling him the wrong name. Devontae Adams. Don't sleep on Devontae Adams over there in LA. Niner fans, we got a problem because you have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. with Matthew Stafford. That is a problem. That is not something to be glossed over. I know plenty of Niner fans and Niner content creators that'll be like, oh, we ain't got to worry about that shit. You better be. If you are sleeping on Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, you are out of your damn mind. You know what I'm saying? That's a problem in our division. You know, the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, viable. Both are viable receivers. You know what I'm saying? Now, up in Seattle, the only person I know that's a receiver there is Jackson Smith and Jigba. The rest of their receivers, I do not know. Follow my man, Steezy A. Smith. He is the dude that is a Seahawks reporter. He does all of their reporting. Fantastic job. The man is making beautiful strides. I'm very proud of him. I see him out there in Seattle doing everything that he has to do. This man is making big moves, and I'm very proud of him. I'm very happy for him. Nothing but love to him. But that's all, man. Steelers won this trade. You get yourself a viable DB. You get yourself a viable tight end, and you get a pick. What else can you ask for? Everybody stay up, stay faithful, stay blessed. I'll be back with more 49ers news when there's more 49er news. Side note, I know everybody was talking about the whole Deommodore Lenoir thing. Here's the situation with that, just to make that very quick and simple. It means nothing. This is just a BS type of situation. It's not really much. The only way that anything happens with Lenoir is if somebody in the league office just wants to be a jackass. That's it. Other than that, man, this is small. This ain't nothing big. You're not defacing the league. You're not screwing up anything. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, everything old, overplayed. We'll see if it works out for them. It may or it may not, but we'll see if it works out for them. Hey, if they can at least win 1 to 2 playoff games, that's better for them. That bodes well for Mike Tomlin and his longevity in Pittsburgh. If not, you can see Mike Tomlin coaching another team next year. Quite possibly. I'm sorry. Like I said, what people forget is the consistency is only good when the playoffs. Yeah, he'll probably get like a fine or something, but that ain't nothing. These people, like, you got to be prepared for stuff like that. Hell, Rodney Harrison knew he was going to get fines. The dude literally set aside money purposely for the fines. So, hey, everybody stay up, stay faithful, stay blessed. Don't worry about the Demo situation. It's not that big of a deal. It'll get handled. Everything will be fine, and this dude will be, back on the field, back in training camp, doing what he needs to do. I guarantee you, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are going, whatever, man. It's just wrong place, wrong time. Situation is what it is.